Carol, I don't see your desk full of Easter candy to sell. No, I don't. I don't. Yeah.
Appreciate it. I'm good.
I'd like to welcome everybody. If we could stand, please, for the pledge or prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Let us pray. Gracious and Heavenly Father, we give you thanks. You have called us into this time of community, do your work and your will for our neighbors and friends. Guide us in this hour, O Lord, as we reach out to discern your will. Bless our city, bless our council, bless our mayor, and particularly bless our first responders, those who go into danger that we may run from it. Be with them and their families in this time. In your name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion that Brian Abrams conduct our meeting due to the mayor's absence today.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. We have two people who have signed in to speak this evening. Jeff Moran, would you like to speak?
Council Mayor Pro Tem, I'll pass till next week. Mayor's not here. It's about him and police chief.
Okay, so you want to hold off for 2 weeks? Okay.
2 weeks?
Well, the next meeting will be in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thanks, Jeff.
Appreciate that. Tony, you have something for us, I believe.
Yeah, I do. I was here a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, sir.
About the parking on Eastview Avenue. Got my neighbors to sign a petition, most of them. Everybody's in favor of it. What we want is no parking on the street from Great Taylorsville Road
On both sides, correct?
on both sides.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a small stretch, but the bottleneck up there, and I think it would help. There was no one opposed.
That affects how many homes? Is it like 3 homes or 4?
No, 2 houses and the apartments across the street mostly.
Okay.
Right.
Now, when I talked to some of these people that signed, they said they were parking in their parking lot for the restaurant. And there was a sign up, that says resident parking only. So I don't know if that's a city thing or not, but they did tell me about that.
If it's their parking lot, I believe what they would do is contract with a tow company to put in the tow company would put signs there, and then they would do that. It's not a city issue.
Well,
That would be the person who owns the apartments
Right.
needs to put that there.
Well, there is a small sign, but I guess people don't see
They're not seeing it, right?
looking for it,
Right.
Everyone I talked to over there was in favor. Nobody was opposed to this, and they were kind of glad that I was doing something about it.
Well, you brought up the safety issue, and you're right. If first responders cannot get through there, then we have to do something about it. Thank you for putting feet to that idea. If you leave that with us, we'll get that with the Public Works Director, who's right here.
Jimmy, does it have to go through Bill first before you
Yes.
get it?
Yeah, the mayor. Yeah, the
Okay.
mayor has to.
The 2 houses that are impacted, they both signed in favor? Okay, perfect.
One of those two.
Awesome. You got 50% of the vote right there.
I see 24 signatures.
It had to come from the apartments.
Impressive. Okay. Thank you, Tony. You're welcome to stay for the meeting or not.
Do we need to make a motion in support of it?
Yeah, well, yes, what we're going to, yes, go right ahead, sir.
Make a motion that we have no parking between Grape and Taylorsville Road on Eastview?
Second.
We have first and duly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll get that taken care of. Thanks again, Tony. Okay, we have a reading of the minutes, April 5th.
I'd like to make a motion that we have reading minutes on April 5th, 2022.
We have a second?
Sorry, the wrong one.
We have a
Second.
Okay.
I was waiting for the title only because I don't
No,
want to
no,
read
it's
all
just,
those
it's just the minutes, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we have first and second on the April 5th minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Let's move right on to the general fund warrant, number 1559.
Make a motion for approval of general fund warrant number 1559 by title only.
Second.
First and duly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Move on down to road fund warrant.
Carried.
I'm sorry?
Motion carried.
Motion carries. Thank you. Road fund warrant number 946.
I make a motion for approval, road fund warrant number 946 as distributed.
Second.
Any questions on that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Fanconi, our Public Works Director, would you be kind enough to come up? What we have here, and this was, Mayor called me about this late today, so didn't mean to catch anybody off guard with it. Jimmy has diligently gone out and found a demo street sweeper. We've had trouble with ours for a few months now, right, Jimmy?
Year and a half.
A year of that long, okay. And he's had it in repairs. We have a major electrical problem with that piece of equipment. So we need to purchase another one. I have one here in front of me that Jimmy has. It's a demo. It's a 2021 Freightliner. And I'll let Jimmy explain about it. And then I'll tell you what the price is and we can move forward.
Thank you. Good evening, council. I am Jimmy Franconi, your Public Works Director. It's been a while since I've been at a council meeting. Hate to show up under these circumstances, and I know you all like to be aware of what's going on. And this has all come about kind of urgently, as I am so frustrated with the current street sweeper we have. As you know, the residents of the city of Jeffersontown have become accustomed to street sweeping like they have snow removal. And you take that out of the business for a year and a half, put it back on the street for a week, and it goes back to where it was. I've lived in dealerships. We can't get this thing fixed. So getting out on the truck, we were demoing from the original company that we have. Temco would send one up from Nashville. And I'm like, what's this demo? Will you sell it? No, it's already sold. Can't get a truck for 10, 11 months. Okay, so then I demoed a truck a few months back, different brand, totally different setup. And to make you aware what I think is a problem with ours in this wiring, ours has a gutter brooms on the outside you see that sweeps. And what it does, it brings it to the middle of the truck. The middle of the truck has a vacuum all the way on the bottom. When leaves start falling, those leaves, like if you ever had a lawnmower, they'll pile up on top of that, hit the muffler and catch on fire, and it burns everything up. So you're chasing wires, wiring harnesses. So I looked at this new truck, and the setup's totally different. It sweeps the entire lane. The middle is not a vacuum box. The vacuum boxes are outside, and you have a broom that goes all the way across the middle, and then your gutter broom's on the outside, and it takes it to the vacuum boxes. I desperately didn't want to like it, but I took it over on Plantside Drive, and they have them, I don't know what you call the little round balls that falls out of trees. And usually it scatters them like golf balls, but it picked them all up, and I'm like, wow, So then we demoed a couple other options that are on the truck, and I'm like, we need this. And I said, would you sell this truck? And he goes, well, yeah. He said, it's going up north by Michigan for a demo. Do you really want it? I'm like, well, I'd have to talk to the mayor. So this came about Friday, and then that's why it's being thrown on you all today. Trying to stop it from getting out of where somebody would purchase it, because they do got another truck coming in to put a sweeper body on, but it's an additional $35,000. And I'm like, 7,000 miles on a truck doesn't bother me a bit. So I'd rather pay the $298 versus the $345.
Where's it coming from, Jimmy, with only 7,000 miles?
This one is BEC, which is a municipal company down in Lexington, Kentucky.
Okay, so it's never been bought and returned
No, ma'am.
anywhere?
No, ma'am.
They're just using it as a demo?
No, they're just showing.
Okay.
And I did a lot of studying on it. And in a business, especially municipalities, and Brian, you're very aware, you send equipment all the time to me. A lot of stuff is built overseas. Their technology and equipment is much more advanced than America. This box comes from Ireland, and you'll see a lot of the YouTube videos where it's being used over there. And I'm like, well, it tells me it's probably a pretty decent product. What sold me is I said, I need companies that's bought them. Well, City of Lexington bought two. They already had one. I said, so they returned and bought another. That's a good sign. And one of the big asphalt companies down there has bought their second or third one. And to sweep millings up, it's got to be a powerful truck. And so I'm impressed with the work that it does, and them selling so close by, and people repeat buying it. It spells a lot to me. So again,
How much you talking, Jimmy?
$298.
And where are we getting this money? Is it going to come from general
Well,
fund?
we have, no, what we have is part of it. Actually, Jimmy still has money in his budget for this year.
Okay.
And then we have unappropriated funds that could be applied to it
Okay.
to bring it up to, that's correct, Mr. Fox, right?
It will come from the general fund.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about the old sweepers or anything we can do
Great
with that?
question. Without it running, and they know this, the first thing they did, I don't know if y'all remember the conversation last summer, we were demoing a remote mower for our steep hills.
Mhm.
Yes.
64,000. Goes, we'll trade you even for that. Well, I know the value of this truck, and as Tim and I were just talking, if it were running, we could probably get $80,000 out of this thing. But it's a situation where they offered me 25,000 cash. I said I wouldn't give you the transmission out of it for 25,000. So in the future, you know, we could trade for that more. We could hold on to the truck, try to sell it on gov.com, see how that goes. Or we could take the sweeper box off the back and put a tree chipper box on the back. What we're using now is in one of our old dump trucks. It's got this metal U-frame on it. And as we were in the storm this past week, the mayor came out in the middle of the night. You can't see anything. It's very dangerous. And I said, you know, so possibilities, we could use the truck itself, take sweeper off, and incorporate that. So we've got options to do something and hopefully recoup a little bit of money back. If not, have an additional piece of equipment for tree removal for the storms.
Can you make a recommendation some point in the near future on what you want to do with it then?
Yeah, absolutely. If we ever get it running, I have turned it back over to Temco, which is the body manufacturer for the sweeping part. International said, we've done all we can do. Come pick it up. I'm not charging another $1 because you're upset. And I'm like, all we're doing is spending money. We get it back and it goes back to the same problem. I'm like, I can't keep just chucking out money.
Kenneth can't get it running?
No. So they're saying it's coming from the back, the sweeper part.
Oh.
So we're holding them accountable. And I'm like, you know, just take care of business and just call me when it's ready. And I don't know when that's going to be because he called me last week and he goes, I don't know what to tell you. It's just going to be a while. I'm like, well, we've been a year and a half without. And again, we'll get it back, keep it a week, and goes right back doing it shuts the engine down. Is what it's doing.
One more question on that. When was it we purchased that one?
I think it was around 2011.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
It's
We
older
paid
than I thought it was.
$173 for it. It was a demo, which I think is a 2010 model, but we did buy it in 2011 because when we came in, the truck we had was done,
Right.
over with, didn't run. So we.
Well, we had
invested
one
in it.
with the plastic undercarriage, and then we bought, is this one with the one with the stainless steel?
Stainless steel. Yep.
And it
All
was-
that's in great shape. It's
Okay.
just something to do. I'm convinced it's the fires that's been underneath it that has created the issue that we can't trace.
That's
You all
what
know I come from trucking. When it came to parts, I was buying parts. They would call me and say, well, this is not an international part. I'm like, yes, it is. Came out of Illinois. It's international. Then they would call back and say, oh, we were wrong. We apologize. And it's like doing the best we can to get this thing moving and everything it pointed to. Oh, well, that's not it. And it's just, I'm at the point we can't keep throwing bad money. It's not working out for us.
So if we agree to this tonight, what's the next, how soon could you get
If
it?
you all approve this tonight, mayor signs it tomorrow and we receive a truck.
Okay, the question before us, council, is whether,
I was just going to say that sounds like a manufacturing issue if leaves get up there and burn it, and that's what's causing it.
Well, if you're familiar with the trucks, it's called a regen, the way it sweeps and vacuums.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a regen model where this company we're buying from, they won't even sell a regen because of those type of issues.
Yeah. Okay.
and that's why I was asking about the age of it. Being 11 years old, I don't know if they would even,
No, I was just saying, like I stripped floors, and there was a big. It's called a sidewinder. You would throw a stripper on the floor to break up the wax, and then as you were scrubbing it, it would erode a rubber clutch in there, and you would have to spend $1,500 every couple weeks to replace the clutch. And I'm like, is there something you could build to block this thing? I mean, what the hell's going on? So that's good. That's just what I heard when you said leaves were going up there.
Well, you know, we took great pride because it was embarrassing when I came in to see how they left the truck. They never cleaned it out. It wasn't stainless steel. This truck was rotted from the inside out. So we were adamant about keeping this truck clean, keeping it looking new. And, you know, the mayor for the last 3 years, what about sweep truck? That's in good shape. Don't worry about it. You know, it's in no problems at all. But then when you start messing with wires and harnesses and all that stuff, electronics, it's gotten out of hand.
okay.
Jim, if you
Jim,
would
So
tell
if we
them-
didn't have a sweeper truck at all, ever, I mean, what's the biggest benefit in it that you see? I mean, is it,
Number one for us is drainage. Anytime grass clippings, leaves get over our catch basins, water can't get off the roadway. So now it's a hazard. It's a wreck waiting to happen. In the wintertime, water piles up, freezes up. It's a wreck waiting to happen. So our job is first and foremost drain the streets. And take Hurstburn Lane Islands. The danger of my guys being in the middle of Hurstburn Lane with a blower blowing the grass clippings back off of the roadway is somebody's going to get killed. And I'm not willing to let that happen. So we orchestrate with our sweeper truck when we're on Hurstburn Lane. He's sitting in the area, they mow, he immediately comes by and sweeps the grass up. And so they coordinate a lot together on issues, but you'd be surprised that once we started sweeping the streets, the expectations of, hey, my road's dirty. It's just got a lot of uses.
You think we can get 10 years out of this one or better?
Absolutely. We take care of it. You know how equipment is. Your equipment's only as good as who's running it and operating it. And that's why I like to sign somebody instead of what you call jump seat in the truck business where somebody new jumps in the seat all the time. Things get torn up. And when you assign it to somebody, you can hold them accountable and say, this is what I expect. And it's how we want the truck to look. Number one, you're advertising for our city. And number two, these dollars is, and again, I'm a trucker at heart. I can't fathom paying this money for this truck. It's just amazing. The brand we have now, same price, $330, wait 10 months for a truck. So the numbers are identical to each other. That's why if those numbers, what is $35,000, but still cheaper, it's available, which we don't have anywhere. The availability of getting a truck.
Hey, Jimmy, since this is a new demo truck that we'd be getting, are there any guarantees or warranties that we're not going to?
Same warranty if we bought it off the lot brand new.
Okay.
I did throw in my sales pitch, and I'm like, so you're going to give me 2 new gutter brooms and the main broom underneath, which is probably about $1,800. I'll throw those in. So it's in a contract that he would pay.
That's nice because they're probably worn anyway,
Yes.
being a demo. Yeah. Okay, Council, the
Yeah.
question before us.
I have known Jimmy for years. He's a good, let's say he makes sure that money is well spent. He won't spend a dime unless money's spent wisely. Based on that, I make a motion, we approve.
Second.
The motion and duly seconded is to approve the purchase of the street sweeper for $298,000. All in favor? Any other questions about that first?
Not really a question, just another comment if I could. Jimmy, would you tell them about the other options on this that makes it nice for the city as far as the tank and for watering the flowers and pressure washing?
Idea. Our original street sweeper run came in and went down. Well, I had a truck that only had like 30,000 miles on it. I'm like, we can make use of this thing. So we took the sweeper box off, put a water tank. It became our brine truck and became our water truck for the flowers out here on Waterson Trail that you see hanging in the baskets normally. That truck finally quit on me this year. It's done. It's made by Sterling. They're not in business anymore, so you can't get parts. So we're running around frantic about how we're going to water the flowers. Because ideally, you like to be sitting on the opposite side of the truck, which only sweeper trucks have steering both sides. You buy an extended wand, guy sits in the truck, reaches out, waters and blows up to the next one. So we're like, what are we going to do? So we were thinking, all right, we're going to have to buy a little tank and put on a John Deere Gator and ride down the sidewalk and do these things. After looking at this truck, it has a 420-gallon water tank underneath your box that collects all the debris. And so with that being said, you could actually pull the plug in the main debris box, put a filter in it, and fill the whole truck up with water. The center broom I'm telling you about can act as, like if you ever see in New Orleans when they clean the streets, has high-pressure nozzles that will blast the water on the street, like after gaslight, we get the grease and nasty stuff up. So that's one option. And on the back, it has a vacuum, and mainly for catch basins. And I'm thinking, how much horsepower does this vacuum truly have? Compared, Carol, you all bought that truck we call the Beast, that very big thing you see MSD.
Right.
And I'm like, so we demoed it at Tully last week. The catch basin was totally full of mud coming up through the grates, and it sucked it all out. I'm like, whoa, that's impressive. And also has a power washer that's built into it, which when you dump your debris out of the box, pull out the hose reel and clean out the back box so it stays clean and
That's nice.
stable for the future. So the options that it does have is pretty impressive. And I'm not easy to impress around trucks, but I'm really impressed.
Just leave it.
I vote we get a new microphone.
Leave it, Jimmy.
You got any gum I can put on this?
Just leave it. Okay, Jimmy, thank you very much again.
Thank y'all.
As
very
Ronnie
much.
echoed,
Ronnie, I appreciate
you've
those
always been a
words.
great steward
Thanks, pal.
for what we do. Okay, we have a motion from Mr. Councilman Powell.
And Mark seconded.
Mark seconded. Hearing no other questions,
Can you-
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
Aye.
nays? No. Motion carries. Jamie, I'll get this to the mayor, or actually Bill Fox will get to the mayor tomorrow. Thank you, sir.
Mayor Pro Tem, for purposes of the record,
Yes, sir.
I will prepare a resolution number 703 that will memorialize what we're doing here so that we have an appropriate paper trail, given the size of this purchase and what it is. Also, that there will be a title involved. I want to make sure we have something
Should we
written.
include that?
I'll circulate that to the council as part of the minutes for the next packet. But just so everyone knows, I learned about this afternoon, so I didn't have an opportunity to prepare a formalized resolution that we would usually use in this circumstance.
So we need a second reading of it then, or? can
No.
We're good now.
It will simply memorialize what you all have done tonight and then be circulated in the packet, but will give us a paper memorial of what happened.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Alrighty. Okay, item number 7 will now be the resolution declaring the following item. We have several aged and non-used items that we need to declare as surplus. So
How do we get rid of those?
we're going to sell them on either like we did on Facebook with the pews, or we're going to put it on the J-Town Swap or some other.
Okay.
And they're basically, we need to get rid of most of the stuff at Bluebird Gym because it's kind of blocking some of the fire stuff that we need to do.
Okay.
Plus, we're not using it, and a lot of the equipment that's down there are set up for the old gym floor, the tile, and we can't put it on the new gym floor. So we're in the process Debbie's in the process. Starting tomorrow, she's going to start, and then we had a bunch of chairs in here and some office chairs that we're going to sell too as surplus and get what we can get for them. We're not trying to make a ton of money on it, but just to get rid of it.
Okay.
Like it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion by first reading of resolution number 701, series 2022 by title only.
Second.
We have a motion and duly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution number 701, Series 2022, a resolution declaring the following items as surplus: benches, burnisher, volleyball poles, dance floor sections, folding chairs, 5-foot rectangle tables, folding coat rack, stackable chairs, and 5-foot round tables.
Sorry.
That concludes first reading. You may entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and duly seconded to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Item number 8 is we have a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract construction of the Performance Pavilion, which is also our amphitheater. 2 weeks ago, we discussed that. We actually approved that contractor, who came back once we sat down with him, and his price had changed. So equipment and materials had changed. He was unable to match the second bidder. So Mayor Deriff had said that if that did happen, he would bring the second contract here. What happened was, so we talked to them. They said they would hold their contract proposal from dated March 10th. And that company is Churchill
McGee LLC.
They will, and their price is $5,000 more than the other one. And that total price is $4,928,000. So that being said, nothing else has changed. I'll entertain a motion.
They're already doing part of the project.
Yes, they are doing,
So they've already been vetted and
they have been vetted. They are doing the concession stands and restroom
portion of it. You approved that last meeting. We had a situation here where the original bidder, which was F.W. Owens Company, made a material mistake in their bid. And before we entered into the contract, their bid had materially changed and was in excess of the bid that had been submitted by Churchill McGee. Based upon that, we negotiated with the Owens Company. They could not come down and rectify their mistake and stand by their original number, so they formally withdrew their bid. So there will be no secondary liability to the city arising out of the original resolution that you all approved. That they withdrew it, and everything is copacetic with them. So, like you said, Churchill McGee has been vetted. We did go back to them and confirm that they would stand by their bid price. They did confirm that. So the net change, as Mayor Pro Tem said, the net change is a $5,000 increase. So that's where we are.
Okay. Entertain a motion to move forward with that contract.
Make a motion for approval of first reading of resolution number 702, series 2022 by title only.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye. And not over the $5,000, over the $4 million.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, you've got,
Yes.
okay, very good. Okay, then,
Resolution number 702, Series 2022. Resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract for construction of the Performance Pavilion. That concludes first reading. You may entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
any further questions? Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, we have, that's 6-1.
Yes.
Motion passes.
You can vote.
I did.
Okay.
Vince isn't here tonight.
That's right. That's right.
So we will move on. Thank you very much for that one. We will move on to committee reports. Ms. Pike.
The only thing I have is that, and I'm sure everybody got it, but Melissa Miller has an incident going on Lambach, and it's open. And I was going to ask you about this, Jimmy. Somebody installed a utility, some kind of a utility thing, a phone thing or something, and all the dirt around it and all the hole around it is open. And she's afraid a kid's going to fall into it. Have you been over there?
I've not heard about it.
Well, it's 8607 Lambach. Can you check that out for me?
Let's either, Carol, it's either going to be AT&T or Spectrum.
A fiber box or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I think it's Spectrum because it's one of the green ones.
Yeah. But they shouldn't leave it like that.
No, they need to fill the hole.
Yeah, they need to fill it.
Yeah.
Other than that, safety has no report.
Councilman Perkins.
Very quickly, a couple of things are not administrative, but I spoke with Brad over here at J-Town Hardware, and he's having a situation. That hardware store has been there since I was a kid. 50 years. And they used to have things displayed on the sidewalk for sale. I think there was dog houses and other items. And since they redid the downtown a few years ago, they're now telling him he can't do that.
I brought this up about a couple of weeks ago, if you remember that. And
I
it's
thought you were
wrong.
going to, but I didn't think you brought it up.
Oh, I thought I did. Maybe I didn't. But I'm agreeing with you.
Okay.
Full force.
And, I think it's
not right.
If nothing else, he should be grandfathered in because, like I said, that business has been there 50 years. And I'm not across the street, El Napal, we allow them to have tables on the sidewalk and sell their wares. And I'm not against them doing that either.
Yeah.
But I'm saying I think we're punishing J-Town Hardware, and I don't think that's right. And I'd like to make a motion that we allow him to have access to use part of that sidewalk to sell his things.
If I may clarify, we have an ordinance which regulates what can go into sidewalks. Those sidewalks have to be ADA compliant. He has been advised of this. We have a permitting process. And to my knowledge, there has never been a permit requested, applied for. The first formal step to allow us to meet the ordinance that you all adopted about this and to remain ADA compliant. So, he may have come to you two,
Right.
but he has never approached planning and development about rectifying the situation and complying with the law.
Well, if that's the way he needs to do it, then that's what he needs to do.
And in my legal opinion, any motion to allow him to do something in contravention of our ordinance would be invalid and improper.
But like I said, there's several things around the city that have been grandfathered in that aren't in compliance with our ordinances.
There is nothing in this city, Mr. Perkins, that has been grandfathered in. El Nopal has a permit.
I'm not even talking about El Nopal, Mr. City Attorney. I'm talking about something else, and I really don't want to name them at this junction, but there is absolutely some things in this city that are not code compliant and have been grandfathered in. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
Well, I'd like to know what they are. That's my job to
tell you.
My job is to enforce the law. So if you have accusations and knowledge that it's not being complied with, I need to know them, and I need to know them really, quite frankly, now.
Well, no,
You brought it up in a public meeting, so we need to know it now.
No, I will not. You will not just.
Okay.
You will not
All right.
dictate when I'm going to do anything.
You're
Fair enough.
violating the law, but that's okay.
Well, that's your opinion. Yeah, that's why we have lots of attorneys. One takes one side, one takes the other. Excuse me. I still think he should be allowed to conduct business on that sidewalk like they've been doing for the last 40 to 50 years. And I think it's improper that we changed it and then told him he can't do it.
But Ray, if there's a protocol, we need to follow the protocol.
It's the laws. Let me say this. I also spoke to Brad about that. He did not call me and ask me about it. I happened to stop in there.
I happened to stop in there too.
I go
so-
there once a week, and he told me about it.
When he told me he explained his plight, I told him there may be a remedy for that. Of course, you just laid out the remedy. I spoke to Matt Munet about it. Matt said there may be a remedy, but Brad would have to get with our code enforcement and work something out. We may be able to work something out, but it's not going to be as easy as putting them out there and leaving them. But Matt has an idea, and I think code enforcement and city attorney can probably work through that. Rather than say no, I think let's try to find a way to get to yes. We'll do that. But anything else on yours, Mr. Perkins?
Yeah. So Saturday we were at the new Veterans Park, and it's beautiful. But I think we need to pay some attention to the basketball courts.
Mm-hmm.
The paint was peeling. They're not draining. There's water standing, and as nice as everything else looks, we need to spend $20,000-$30,000 to redo those to make them really usable. I mean, they look bad, really bad.
Yeah, we never did anything with those.
No, we have not.
Yeah, we never
Is
resurfaced
that one
those.
of the phases though that's going to move that?
I don't think so. I think.
Well, and I was wondering too with it, because I walked across the courts too, and I thought the same thing. I was like, man, these are kind of, but I'm trying to remember back when we did the initial expansion, are those courts on city property or are they on the
Yes.
church's property?
No, absolutely on city property.
100%.
100%.
There was some concern about that. You're right.
Yeah, I
One time.
remember there was something where we did like shared space with them. So I just couldn't remember if those were the courts.
It's not only do they need to be repaved and new
Line.
goals, but you're probably gonna have to put in some kind of drainage, like some kind of drainage pipe coming off that hill so the water diverts and goes around the courts.
That's what I noticed, because there was like an island just south of it where it was covered. And I was like, oh man, this is not what I thought.
We can send that to Parks and Recreation if you guys want to look into it.
Who is Parks?
There is.
Debbie. Okay.
No, I mean,
It is in the 5-year plan on our budget for improvement projects. Now, we never prioritized it into this budget season because there's other things to do. Now, with the new upcoming budget, if you want to put it in there, we'll try to get it in there and get it taken care of. But it has been mentioned before, and it has been, it's like the pool liner. It's in every year, but we don't buy it unless it gets tore up. Now, we may be at the point where the basketball goals need to be fixed.
Yeah, the pool liner's
and
going in this
done.
year, I think, right?
So
And
I
what's
think
the,
you'll see it in the, if you want it, I'll make sure it's in next year's budget to be done. And we'll move from there and you can improve it when you do the budget.
Fair enough. That's
But
all I have.
Like I said before, the improvement projects are a list of things we'd like to do. If something more important comes up, like we lose roofs off our buildings because of tornadoes, all that stuff goes away and we do what we have to do
I
to
understand.
maintain the city.
And as we
what's
should.
good, it's on our list.
Yes.
Pam, you'll look into that one at your leisure. Okay.
That's all I have.
Mr. Perkins? Okay. Councilman Hall,
You're up.
I'm gonna pass until I'll go last.
Okay. Make a motion. We get my name spelled correctly on this. My name is Tim, not Tam.
Time Hall.
Can I get a second?
I second that.
Thanks, Mark. Planning and zoning has nothing to report.
It's on the printed one. It's right. So, obviously,
Online.
just to let you know.
How many versions are there?
Nothing further. Councilman Powell, you're
Can I make a suggestion, Tim? Email Missy and tell her to please change her name.
Change my name.
email and ask her to take the E off. Councilman Powell.
Because I don't remember it the next morning.
I have nothing to report from legislative. However, I would like to thank Debbie Hendricks for the job she did at Easter Fest.
Outstanding.
Great job.
Outstanding. Councilman Bloom.
Yeah, I was just going to echo Ron. Easter Fest was great. Really enjoyed it. Got to go as an attendee instead of as a worker, and the kids loved it. So really happy with it. So thank you, Debbie, and anybody who was part of that. So whether it be Public Works or Parks Department, so and police. Nothing else to report.
Councilwoman.
On the Easter Fest, she said she thought they had over 2,000 in attendance. That's great. The weather was perfect. I'm sorry I missed it, but I saw the
It was-
It was
pictures.
busy.
It was great.
There were 13,000 eggs they put out there, and it looked like a feeding frenzy of piranha.
I was
They were
gonna
gone
say-
in about 2.5 minutes. It was, I mean, and they did a wonderful job. They sectioned it off for the different age groups, and the eggs were gone, the tape was gone, everything was gone.
The cookies were gone.
Well, it
'cause I
was
was giving
nice
them
they
out.
could be outside, everybody together, because last year before, we were handing, they were
Through the
They
car.
drove through and we handed
Car,
it
yeah.
to him.
That was
It was remarkable.
no fun. The one thing I want to mention, and this is great news. I didn't know this whole story, but November 2021, when Veterans Park got vandalized, the bathrooms got vandalized. I think it was 5 or 6 young teens, and our cameras were able to catch them. The police investigated. They got a picture of the license plate. Traced it back to one of the teens' grandparents' car and was able to catch them. And they did $6,000 worth of damage. But Debbie said it was either today or this week. Bill Perino, they paid their final restitution,
Fantastic.
$6,000. And so those cameras are doing a good job. And then I went to the museum for their little grand opening, and they got a beautiful facelift. They had a good turnout. If anybody gets time, stop by there and check it out. And that's all I have.
Thank you. I just passed out the budget meeting schedules for this year, or for the next couple months. Anyone wishing to obviously your committees, what the budget meeting schedules are. If you wish to attend another budget meeting, you're welcome to attend it. Of course, you just cannot respond or add anything to it. But there they are in the times.
Brian, did you do this?
No, I did
No, I did not. But it is a great idea. Thank you, Mr. Fox.
Well, just let me know if you have an issue with the times that we have down there.
Okay.
Because this is trying to fit into everybody's schedule
Yeah, that's
The
hard
most
to
as
do.
best as we can. And
the fact
there
that
is
we have
some
3
open
people
times,
running
but-
for mayor, it actually, all 3 need to attend as many as they possibly
Sure.
can. So,
Wait, there's a mayor's race?
yeah, there certainly is.
Yeah.
well, you're more than welcome to come to the budget meetings. You just can't speak at the
Right.
meeting, but everybody's welcome to attend any of those meetings. As you know, on the 16th, there is a committee of the whole where we'll talk about the whole budget. So everybody's invited to that.
That's the day before election.
Well, that's because we're moving it to the day before election day.
Yeah.
We're changing the meeting to the 16th. So if you have any questions, have any issues, let me know. I can
Yeah,
try to
good
work
job
the schedules the
doing that
best I
together.
can.
No,
But I
This
thought
is
it would be
great.
easier to give it to you than it would be for me to tell you.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, this is perfect. I
Yeah,
like
it-
this.
Yes,
Trying
thank
to get a
you.
little bit better communication
I like
from
it.
me.
Wonderful. For everyone here tonight, did you notice the new carpet and all the chairs are here now?
Right.
It looks wonderful.
Smell it. I smelled it before I saw it.
I did want to add, and Mr. Fox, there is a roof, since Mr. Perkins brought up the basketball court. Right on the other side of it, there's one of the pavilions that has a 3-tab shingle roof, and the wind has taken about 7-8% of the shingle tabs are gone. So that's a claim if you wish to have one. It might be a time to go ahead and get a claim, and if you want to consider a metal roof on that one as well, since we have been putting metal on the other ones. It's the pavilion by the basketball court. No, it's not across. It's on, yes, it's the big one, I guess, beside it. Because, well, we have a large one with a red metal roof already. So it's the next one over. Yeah.
Jim Hill.
That's what I was saying, that he got mad.
And Town
Yeah.
Hall.
In time.
Well, if he can't perform, just let me know. We can work something out on that. I was pleased to see that the revenue department got their software purchased, and that's a great thing for efficiency. It took a long time. Damon and Bill Fox and the mayor worked, and Holly worked hard to get that done. You like everything working well with it so far, Mr. Fox? Just starting with it? I know it's going to take a long time to get everything worked through. Yeah. Well, it's nice that you were able to find something you like. Well, maybe about 2023, all the bugs be worked out. You guys be good with it. Of course, I was excited to see that we moved forward with the second contract on the performance pavilion and amphitheater. It looks like they should be able to break ground sometime in May on the earthwork, and then maybe July to start construction. So, weather permitting. And that's all I have. Mr. Powell.
There's no other business. I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks for coming out, guys. Pleasure.
You did good, Brian.
Mr. Fox, you want me to leave this here? I'll give it back to you.
Just leave it there.
Okay. It's got everything here.